Okay, so I am actually going to walk you through the converting portion of your assignment now. So this is problems 6 through 11, and this is using what we talked about in our cute little video. It was there. It depends on which one you wanted to use. King Henry died, and then they said unusually drinking chocolate milk. Okay. Or I think some of them said King Henry died, and then they said bass in the video, the like music video, and then they said drinking chocolate milk. So the U just stands for what unit of measurement are you talking about? So that could either be meters, liters, or grams. Okay. Meters, liters, or grams, right? Or they call it base sometimes. Okay, your base unit. So either one. All right. So be sure to include the correct unit in your answer. We are trying to talk about Amy, and she's on a swim team. Each week, she swims a total of 4,000 meters. Okay, so meters is clearly our base unit, right? We're talking about meters, right? How many kilometers or kilometers? Most people say kilometers, but how many kilometers does she swim each week? So I'm going to use a different color because basically when you're talking about a number and there's no decimal point there, it's always just sitting there invisible, right? To the right of your number. So I'm going to put one right up here. It's sitting to the right because this is where I am. I'm on a meter, right? 4,000 meters. And I'm trying to get it to sit over here by my kilometers. So how many jumps is that? One jump, two jumps, three jumps over before it's sitting next to kilometers instead, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. One jump in between, two jumps in between, three jumps in between. So now it's sitting here instead. So technically it becomes 4 decimal point, and those 3 zeros are behind the decimal point. You can write it like this if you want, but technically that's just 4 kilometers, right? Boop-a-doo. Okay. So I would put 4 km for 4 kilometers. Okay. Let's check out our next one here. So we have number 7. Centimeters is what I see right off the bat. So during a huge snowstorm in the White Mountains last year, it snowed 400 centimeters in a week. So how much did it snow in meters? So I'm starting out with centimeters and I want to convert to meters, right? So again, I go through and I think of the King Henry saying, I'm 42 years old and I still like to use these little helpful sayings. So it's King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. Okay. So these stand for all my different units or prefixes for my units. So we're using metrics. This is where your base unit is for a meter, right? Meters are here. Okay. So we're at centimeters right now. I'm going to use a different color. Because remember, if you're at 400 centimeters and there's no decimal point, your invisible decimal point always sits directly to the right. So I'm going to stick it right there because for cm, this is where we're at, sitting right there. How many hops does it take to get from centimeters to meters? Remember, meters is your base unit, so it's here in the center. M over here stands for millimeters, okay? So I'm not trying to go here, even though it's an M, okay? So I'm going to go from centimeters, one jump in between, two jumps in between, and that lands me to the right of my base unit of meters. So 2 jumps in between. So 1, 2 jumps in between, and that's where I'm going to land. So again, I end up with, I could say 4 meters, or I could say 4.00. Either one, right? They mean the same thing. All right. Let's move on to number 8. I'm going kind of fast, but I'm hoping this kind of catches on, okay? So a scientist is working with 4 meters of gold wire. So think of like your arm span times 4, okay? 4 meters of gold wire. How long is the wire in millimeters? So how many of those teeny tiny little slash marks are in that full distance of 4 meters. That's what we need to figure out. So I'm starting with 4 meters, and I want to know how many little tiny millimeter slash marks are in the exact same amount. Okay, so again, I wish I could type. King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. And remember, this M stands for millimeters, right? The big U stands for your unit. So are you talking about meters, liters, or grams? Okay, so for right now, we're definitely talking about meters. So we are right here, okay? So we're at 4. We're starting here at the U for our main unit, okay? And we're trying to convert it to millimeters, which is over here for the M. So again, the number 4 doesn't have a decimal point, so it's sitting to the right. So I'm going to put it sitting to the right of the unit that I'm using. I'm using metrics. I'm using meters right here. So I'm trying to get to millimeters. So I need to go once in between, twice in between. And right now it looks like, hey, I'm at the M, right? But the decimal point needs to sit to the right of the unit that you are going to all the time. It's always to the right. So that lets me know I need to go one more hop. So I have 1, 2, 3 hops to go. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 hops up here as well. And all you do is fill in those lovely little baskets with your place value zeros, right? So how many millimeter teeny tiny slash marks are on 4 meter sticks? 4,000 total. Which, if you're starting to get the hang of things, that makes sense because each meter stick has 1,000. Okay. Here we go, moving right along. All right, so a company offers free shipping on orders that weigh less than 5,000 grams. How much is this in kilograms? So I'm glad they've at least moved on. We're getting away from the meter stuff. Okay, so here we go. We're at 5,000 grams and we want to know kilograms. Okay, remember grams is a base unit. So when we say King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. Okay. The unusually stands for our unit. What's our unit that we're using? Is it meters? Nope. Is it liters? Nope. Is it grams? Yes. Okay. So we are right here. When we talk about 5,000 grams, we are at the U because we're at our base unit of grams. Okay. So that means I'm going to start out by just putting my decimal point right here. Okay. Because that's where your 5,000 decimal point is. So 5,000 grams, right? And what am I going to do with this decimal point to get it to go to kilograms? So I'm going to go 1 hop in between, 2 hops in between, 3 hops in between. Do I stop here or do I do one more? Well, if I go one more hop, I'm on the left side. I always, always, always want to be on that right side. Okay, so that's how I know I'm ready to stop at kilograms because I'm on the right. Okay, right is right. Right is correct. Okay, so 1 hop, 2 hop, 3 hops. So I'm going to go 1 hop in between, 2 hops in between, 3 hops in between. So 5,000 grams equals 5 kilograms. Or you could put 5.000 kilograms, but they all mean the same thing. Okay. All right. Moving on to number 10. Here we go. All right. An athlete eats 90 grams of protein per day while training. How much this is in milligrams? Okay. If you look at any of your food stuff, you're definitely going to see milliliters and milligrams all over the place. So even though we're the US and we use US customary, when it comes to our food packaging, we definitely use metric a lot. Okay, so I'm at 90 grams of protein. Again, if we have King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. Okay. I have everything out. I know that the U stands for my unit. So units could be either meters, nope, liters, nope, or grams. Yep, we're using grams, right? We're at grams. So this is how I know I'm in this location. I'm at grams right now. And I want to change it to milligrams. So remember, your milligrams is all the way to the right. Okay, the M is for milligrams. So I'm going to stop, put my decimal point where it goes. So remember, if you have the number 90, the number 90, my decimal point's sitting right here to the right. Okay, it's invisible. So right here to the right, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, just like with my number. And I need to go to milligrams. So that means I'm going to go 1 hop in between, 2 hops in between. Do I stop here? Am I on the right? Because right is right. I'm not on the right. I need to be on the right of milligrams. So I'm going to stop here. Okie dokie. So that's 1, 2, 3 hops to the right. So I'm going to go up here and go 1, 2, 3 hops to the right. And that's where my new decimal goes. So what am I going to put in my little baskets? Place value zeros, right? So in 90 grams, I have 90,000, because now this isn't a decimal point. It's actually turned into a comma now because I have so many zeros. So it's 90,000 milligrams, or those teeny tiny little hash marks. Okay. And one more. Here we go. Hopefully you're starting to remember our little saying, because it takes me so long to write it out because I'm writing on my computer pad. Okay, so King Henry. What does King Henry do? He dies unusually drinking chocolate milk. Cool? All right. So the U stands for any unit. Are we working in meters, liters, or grams? So in this specific problem, we are starting out with 30,000 milliliters. A water dispenser has a capacity of 30,000 milliliters. Means it can hold it. Okay. Have you ever seen those jugs that are like huge and they're upside down, and you can like go and dispense the water from them? We have one in the office at school. So it can hold 30,000 milliliters. So what is that in liters? How many liters is it holding? So that's all we're trying to figure out. So we are actually starting at millimeters, right? Because milliliters, right, is going to be this M here. And then we're trying to get to liters, which is our base unit right here. So, like always, I'm starting to the right. Right is right. Okay, starting to the right. So if I have the number 30,000, right, I have a decimal point that's just sitting there to the right all the time, just sitting there invisible. And I'm going to end up moving it however I do down here. So I need to go 1 hop in between, 2 hops in between, 3 hops in between. Now I am sitting to the right of liters. And that's what I want, right? I'm trying to convert to liters, and I always stop when I'm to the right of it. So that is 1 hop, 2 hop, 3 hops. So I'm going to go 1 hop in between, 2 hops in between, 3 hops in between, and move it there. So technically, 30,000 milliliters is the same thing as 30 liters. Or you could say, if you really wanted to, if you wrote it like this and kept the zeros behind it, that's fine too. It means the same thing, but technically it's just 30. Your answer's 30. Okay. I hope that walking through this helped you a little bit and feel comfortable with moving your decimals around. Remember, stay to the right. Right is right.